hope and transformation. Well, let me tell you something. We are here on Abundantly Restored because we believe in exceedingly abundantly, far more than we could ever begin to imagine. So come on in, take your virtual seat as we get ready for Abundantly Restored.
Hello to everyone. Welcome to Abundantly Restored. We are so glad that you are tuning in today. Let me tell you something. We are excited for Abundantly Restored, but we are excited for great viewers and wonderful viewers such as you. So we will be discussing how to move forward when you're feeling stuck. We are going to be discussing that tonight. And as you will see, to be having LaWanda, we will be discussing, we will have specific topics, but in this one, we are going to spotlight tonight. So get excited about that. You know, you never know what we're going to do, but we're excited. And also, we're excited about our guest tonight. We have Algerina Pringle with us, the CEO and founder of Transition into Wholeness. So we are so glad that she is going to be with us today on our show of Abundantly Restored. So we are glad that she is here with us today. Yes. Hi, Algerina. How are you?
Hi. Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
We are so glad that you are here with us. You're always welcome here on Abundantly Restored. Algerina and I met because we were in class together. And that's how we began to meet, you know, with our show. And, you know, and we've been connected ever since then. So, hi, Daniela. How you doing, sweetheart? So, yes, but I am so glad. Let me tell you something. She's an amazing person. She's doing amazing and great things. And we are just excited for what is going on in her life. She is the founder and the CEO of 2 companies. And then she has transitioned into wholeness, and which is her nonprofit organization that offers the talk show that allows guests to tell their testimonies to help inspire and encourage those that may be going through some similar circumstances. They offer a mind-shifting program to help achieve and accomplish your heart-desired goals. Also, they have a youth leadership development program that is a safe place for them while developing life skills. But along that, she has her 5-year-old baby, Vibrant Sense, which is her candle company that inspires you to let your light shine. We are so excited about what she is doing. Yes, and we are excited that she is here with us tonight. So, Algerina, what is Transition into Wholeness?
Transition into Wholeness is a God-given organization where we allow people to be their authentic self while developing.
Go ahead.
By developing into who you were created to be. We allow them to mend what has been broken, because all of us have dealt with brokenness at some point in our life. We allow them to recover from that brokenness. We were created to not stay broken, but to become whole. Yes, broken crayons do color, but we were created to be whole. And then we help them overcome that brokenness. Now you're able to help the next person. So we mend, we recover, and we overcome. That's transition into wholeness.
I like that. I like that. Hey, you know, hey, we all need to be recovered. We need something that's going to encourage us and bring us together, you know. And it's so amazing you talked about the broken crayons, because they do still color, you know, but it's amazing how, you know, they still operate even though they're broken. So, you know, we've been in situations and circumstances like that. So what prompted you to start this organization? Because there had to be a story behind it. What prompted you to do it?
The whole life journey. But what prompted me, because, you know, this is completely out of my comfort zone. This is completely out of, so what prompted me is Lord hounding me and pulling on me. That's what prompted me, to be real. Because if it was left up to me, it wouldn't have been existing. So yeah, just that pulling. And and just starting to move. And then in me moving and building this journey, I saw my transition in myself. So while I was moving, just to take that first initial step of faith to do it and be obedient in doing it, it allowed me to open up doors and transition stuff and mend stuff in my own life as I went through that process.
So there's always a process, especially when you're dealing with broken and we're dealing with different pieces that are in our lives. There's always that portion that there's always something that caused us to be where we are. And thank God for restoration, that there is restoration, that there's still hope, and that all is not lost, but what happens when you're in that position, but you don't see hope? Because you don't always see hope. You don't always see restoration, but God has a way of pulling on us and letting us know that there's still hope and there's still restoration. Thank you so much to those of you that are logging in. Thank you. Let me tell you something. So to me, and it takes a transition. There has to be something that's happening for you to transition. You're not going to just transition. It has to be something that's going to cause that to happen.
Right.
So I would imagine that in your own, life, that there was just something that happened in your life that even made you want to see people whole. So what actually went on that caused you to want to see people become whole, that they don't have to keep having broken crayons?
Right. So in 2012, I lost my mother. And I was, praying for healing, going to church, doing everything I believe, I've been living, a rightfully life. But yet I still didn't feel that God was listening. I still didn't get those prayers answered at the time that I wanted to be answered, that I feel that I needed to have answered. So I lost my faith because I trusted him and I believed for a thing, and seemed like everything went completely opposite of what I was believing and hoping for. So I lost my faith in God, and I just started doing everything on my own. And this went on for years, hanging out, partying, having a good time, just living my life how I wanted to live it. And it went on for a few years. And then I remember it was like New Year's Day. And I remember me, my husband, my sister, and my brother-in-law was sitting at the table. And I don't know what came over me, but something came over me that I was just tired. I was just sick and tired. And I knew I couldn't go any further without God. And at that moment, we were just sitting to the table, just chilling, drinking. I'm crying, and they probably looking at me like I'm crazy. Like I can't go no further. I was just crying out for God, and I know I needed to get closer and get back online with Him. So I made the decision to get back on track. And with that, it came with a lot of waiting, comes with a lot of just not thinking everything gonna fall like how I wanted to fall. I had to get some understanding. I had to get and some connected to the right people that had gonna encourage me and let me know the will of God and teach me the right way. So yeah, during that process, I started growing, started developing. I still didn't know what I was doing, because when you say you're going to Christ and turning over to Christ, I didn't know him. I just know of him. But as I was getting to know him and the relationship started growing, I got to know him. And in the process of me getting to know him, I started fixing the broken pieces. And that's where wholeness started coming in. And when he put this organization on my heart, I really saw the bigger picture. And our relationship started developing, and I started drawing closer to him, closer and closer. And with that, we birthed transition into wholeness.
Wow. See, I tell people, when you have gone through something, and I can relate. I lost my mother in 2019. I understand. And it had been a struggle. It's 5 years this year, but one of the biggest voids of my life, But in the midst of it, I still had to see God in it. Even in the midst of it, I still had to know that God had a purpose and a plan for me. So many times, Algerine, I went back and I said, God, oh, so maybe if you hadn't taken my mother, would I be where I am today? You know what I'm saying? See, certain things cause me to have those kind of questions. So the experience that you went through, I understand that it's the process that God had to take you through. Because imagine, like you said, you were doing her, you were living your life. I'm sure, just like, hey, just doing whatever I got to do. And you know what? And then God said, okay, now I'm gonna snatch her. Okay, now I'm gonna bring her back into reality because she's going too far. And thank God that He loves us that much that He only lets you go, but so far before He brought you back in. And but at the same point, there had to be healing that had to take place. So how could you tell others unless God had taken you through that?
Yep. It had to happen. It was necessary. It was necessary. A lot of stuff we go through, trials, we go through it just so He can draw us closer to Him.
Most definitely. And people don't realize it. And it's so funny because a lot of times it's not even for us. It's going to be for somebody else. See, we don't realize that, but the things that we're going through that, you went through that because you're going to have to talk to someone else who lost their mother. You're going to have to talk to someone else who, tried to run away, just wanted to give up, just didn't want to be bothered, and it's just that person that needed to hear from you. So it caused you to birth transition into wholeness. Which, imagine, you could not talk about wholeness if God had not done it for you. See, and I think that that's where sometimes people get it mixed up because you can't bypass that process. You still have to go through that process because we're all being processed at some point. Like
everything is a process, and during the process is a lesson in it. And then that goes back to, the topic or whatever, as far as I see it as life, like you playing a game, like how we used to play Super Mario back in the day, and you go to different levels. And, like how we was kids, you play connect the dots. The dots are God's appointed time. Those are the dots. So the in between, which is in the middle, is what you're doing in the middle of those dots while we waiting. And in that point, sometimes we feel stuck when it's not even necessarily the case.
It's true, because sometimes you feel like, not like you said, we feel stuck. We feel like we're in like a holding pattern. You feel like, God, where are you? Where are you? Don't you see me? Hello, hello, hello. But meanwhile, He's like, no, I need you to stay stuck there just for a little while. Because sometimes it's that part that He's processing us, it's that part that He's talking to us. It's that part that He's trying to get us to another place. So if we don't have that part, we and I like that because, like you said, and it's the middle. What about the middle part, Algerine? I find that we want to go right to the end, but what about the middle?
That's where all the treasures and the lessons are, in the middle. And I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine on yesterday, because I'm the type of person, I just want to get it done. I want to get it done, go to the next, get it done, go to the next, get it done, go to the next. And then when I feel like I'm stuck and nothing's happening, I get frustrated. But I'm only frustrating myself because now I'm anxious. So I got to learn to just sit back and, like I said, sit back and listen.
Yes.
Sit back and listen.
And it's hard. It's not always easy because it's going to take patience. And see, that's the thing. Because sometimes God got to work on our patience. Sometimes it's the patience that He's saying, okay, you know what? Because sometimes we don't realize it, but there are still some areas that He's still working on. Because sometimes we think, oh no, I'm good. And the next thing you know, He's like, okay, let me send this her way. Let me send that her way. And I'm going to find out if she's still really there. Because sometimes, what is it? Sometimes we still have residue that's still laying around. And those are the things that, He still has to help us with. So, I'm glad that that He gave you transition into wholeness. because that's your story.
Yes,
That's like literally your story. Like, it's amazing because imagine that story that's going to come and encourage so many others.
Mm-hmm. And just because this is my new baby, and like I said, I'm completely out of my comfort zone. And during the process of being out of my comfort zone, I'm willing to step out, which I did. And now that I'm out, I know I'm being stretched. I feel I'm being stretched, but it's okay. And I'm up for the challenge because I told God that I want everything that He got for me. I done gave up enough. I done lost enough. I done allowed the enemy that took so much from me. Now it's time for me to restore everything plus more back of what has been taken. So in that process, I got to do stuff I never did before, no matter how I feel. So I don't have time to get stuck in my emotions. I just got to keep pressing.
Because it will not take much for you to get stuck there, not at all. Trust me, we are going to have a conversation very shortly in reference to getting stuck, but we're going to help you tonight move forward. But before we go, I want to say hello. Thank you so much, Kim Barnes. Thank you, Elder Dr. Dana Royster. Thank you, Daniela. Thank you, Julia, Katrina. Thank you, all of you that are on here that are still logging on. Thank you. But we are so grateful, that we have that Algerina is with us today. And I want to take this moment and we're going to go to Lawanda's corner. Let me tell you something. In my corner, a lot of things could happen. It could be a giveaway. It could be a spotlight. We can do different things. But tonight, we're going to spotlight. So, you know what? Teachers Appreciation Week is coming up, and we thank God for the educators. Thank you. I went back. I thought about my kindergarten teacher. I went all the way back to kindergarten, Miss Left. I'll never forget her. Now imagine that. You know how long ago that was? I even remember her name. Come on. But she just left such an impact. Even when I'm that young, but I still remember her. So, we thank God for good educators, those that really have the heart of children, that really want to teach. So tonight, we are going to spotlight Julia Barney tonight. And let me tell you something. She's an educator of 25 years. Yes. We are spotlighting Julia Barney tonight. She is an educator, 25 years, single mother, 2 children, and they're twins. Oh my goodness, they're twins, Raquel and Ryan, who were just inducted into the Junior Copper Roll Honor Society. Julia Barney, a pre-K teacher, pre-K, 25 years. She heads a debate team. She's an adjunct professor. She has her Facebook group, the Pre-K Teachers Support Group. Over 35,000 members are in her support group. She is supportive to so many other educators. So she's blessed to be in this position that if they have questions, she can answer them. If she has questions, she's there to support them in this group, which is helping and changing lives. Plus maintaining this, she has her business. And if some know her by Juju Bling, Paparazzi, that's who she is. Yes. All you got to do is go to Facebook. You're going to see all of her lives and everything. She's amazing at what she does, but she is making such a difference in people's lives. We congratulate you, Julia. Congratulations. This month, she is graduating with her 2nd master's degree, EDS Principal Certification. We are so excited for you tonight. Congratulations, Julia. And you know what? And we'll be finishing the next phase for her doctorate. So we thank God she'll be coming, Dr. Julia Barney. We are so excited for you. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for what you do for making a difference in these children's lives. And we are so happy. We are celebrating you tonight through your obstacles, through when you could have gave in, when you could have thrown in the towel. You're finishing your own, trying to do what you had to do, put things on hold so you could go back and finish, and yet your children are inducted into the honor society. That carries weight. It's not suffering in your home. It's not causing your home to lack. And I thank God for you that you still persevered and you kept going. So we are excited for you. Julia Barney, congratulations on your getting ready to have your graduation, and keep making a difference in someone's life. Thank you. We celebrate your 25 years as being an educator. Congratulations. And we look forward for the next thing coming from Julia Barney. So we are excited that we could spotlight you tonight. It's such a blessing when we can spotlight others. And so I'm excited. Thank you so much. Hi, Lisa. I thank God, for those that are still logging on tonight. And so as we were talking, and we're going into our conversation of when you're stuck and how to move forward. And one of the things I went and I was working on some things, but I ran into an article that I thought was really good by Kelly Page, and it was really good. And I found some things that I really think will be helpful because we want to move forward. Sometimes why you're stuck is because the goal is too big. And see, sometimes we might say that we have a dream of being a well-known author, right? So maybe that's your dream. Okay. But yet you've never written a page to anything. You've never written down anything. You never anything on a paper. But so you start to feel overwhelmed because why? You feel like it's not happening for you. So you feel like the goal, it seems like you're not reaching your goal. So you become overwhelmed at going from an unknown to a big time writer. But let me tell you something. One way to get unstuck from this feeling is to break your goal into smaller pieces. There's nothing wrong with having the goal, but you can break it into smaller pieces. Yeah. So the best-selling book isn't going to happen overnight. But if we start to move towards the goal with baby steps, what about doing a simple post? What about saying, you know what, I'm just going to write a quick article today, something that's been on my mind, and I'm going to post it on Facebook. There's different other ways that you can start, but you need to start. And so many times we need to start by taking baby steps. Not so big to say, okay, I'm going to sit here tonight and I'm writing this 500-page book tonight. If that's the case, you would have done it. So that means now you've been stuck because the goal was so big. But if we break it down into smaller pieces, you will begin to see where the vision will become more realistic. So you begin to start sharing other things, which will make it seem like it's attainable because it's the goal. And there's nothing wrong with setting goals, but they need to be realistic goals.
Right. That goes back to, like, for me, for example, with my new baby, I done set the organization, I got the platforms in place, but it seemed like it's not moving like how I feel it should be moved. And then I heard, well, God told Noah to build a boat. That didn't mean it rained the next day. So you just got to just set it. Just set it, and that time will come. Set clear goals, like you were saying. Small goals, do clear goals. That's where you're not frustrating yourself. You're not trying to jump ahead.
Exactly, because you can do it. And one of the things that the other thing was that we talked about was that the definition of success is too narrow. And what happens is people often get stuck when they define success in one specific way. Success is not just one specific way. Success could be done in many different ways. But if we just have a narrow mind that says it must be done this way, that's when we find ourselves running into problems. So what happens is we have to realize that success can have many stops and have many turns. There are people that are successful today because of many losses, but yet they've had gains. And what happened was sometimes the mindset is just so set that it must go this way. It might not always go that way. So what happens is we say it has to be like this. If it doesn't go like this, and that's why we're stuck, because we've become narrow-minded. So we become stuck and we don't know how to move forward. We're trying to move forward, but we don't know how to move forward. So we have to look at it and say, no, I don't want to continue to be narrow-minded, because I found that it's not getting me to where I need to go. So only having one definition of success can make you feel stuck and unsuccessful. But breaking down the goal can help you move forward while also feeling like you're accomplishing things along the way.
Absolutely.
So sometimes you just have to break it down. You just got to break it down a little bit more, and then be open-minded to some other suggestions.
Go back to the instructions step by step. When you're building something, one step at a time. Look, we look at them instructions, go all the way to the end, number 10, and think we're going to put this thing together. Step by step.
And that's when you find that one of the things that I realize is that if you have the open mind, you say, okay, you know what, it's not working this way, but you know what, it doesn't mean that I can't look at other options, because sometimes it's good to see another option, because we want to move forward. We don't want to stay stuck. The next thing was that we're married to perfection. And that's a problem when we are married to perfection. Perfection can definitely keep you stuck. I don't know about you, but it can keep you stuck. Let me tell you something, because you're trying to get it to go in a certain direction. You're trying to get it to go in a certain way. So you feel like you can't make a move until everything is right. You feel like until you've nailed everything down to the T. If it's not like this, you feel like you just can't make a move. So you find yourself stuck. And then what happens is that you find out that you're not going anywhere. Nowhere. You're literally not going anywhere, because now you're looking for perfection, and nothing is going to be perfect.
Nope.
So while we want it to be, it's not going to be perfect. So don't let it hinder you from taking steps to move forward.
And a lot of us, we like to feel like we got to learn everything before we decide to move. But you got to move while you're learning.
I agree.
Got to move while you're learning.
And that's the part that people have to understand, because it's not always going to be perfection. Not at all. And at the end of the day, hey, we're not perfect. Never will be. We're not perfect. So once we see that, we realize that we don't want it to hinder us from moving forward.
And when we look at perfection, most of the time we're looking at other people and feel like they got it all together and they're doing it right, and you just trying to do it like that. Because I know I had an issue with that, but I had to come to the realization, okay, I'm gonna just be me. I'm gonna give you what I got, and that's all I can give you, and that's what it's gonna be.
And you keeping it honest and truth. You're saying that that's what it is. One thing I know, and I'm thinking about here for the next one, is that you're addicted to pain. So it may sound strange, but some people are addicted to pain, and that keeps them stuck. Being in pain allows them to be a martyr. To leave a bad job or basically a relationship would rob them of their pain and victimhood. Because some people like being a victim. So it's going to rob them of their victimhood. But at some point, we must realize that we want to feel a better sensation and to know that we want to live in a healthier situation. Then we will be ready for change. But it's when we can get over the victim mindset. We have to realize that we sit in this place of always playing the victim. When are we going to stop playing the victim? That's why we're stuck, because we're playing the victim. After a while, the victim card is going to run out. After a
Right.
while, we're going to have to start looking at things differently because that card is no longer, you can't keep playing the victim. Because what are you going to do? Because if we want change, hey, they always said, if you want something different, you got to, you want different results, you're going to need to do something different.
Absolutely.
So I have to stop claiming that I'm the victim. I have to stop blaming everybody else for my situation and my circumstance. I have to realize that what part did I play? And so that I can move forward because I'm stuck. Don't you get tired of being stuck? I mean, I know I can't be the only one on here that's feeling like that.
No, all of us.
That's not what we want to do. And it's true. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, Lisa said that they love the attention. Yes, Kim said, good point. Yes, they do. Because some are attention getters. As long as they can keep your attention, honey, girl, they're going to keep you locked up. They won't let you do anything else because they're going to lock you up.
And you see them coming, you better keep it moving.
You better know it. You better know it. But
they just want to hold you down right along with them.
That's it. Because the victim card, you got to give it up. Tonight, I want you to stop being stuck and give up and stop being the victim. And we have to start taking ownership of our own situation and our own circumstance. The next thing that I wanted us to talk about was your focus only on one path. See, sometimes we could have that mindset of only being stuck on one path. Often we think that there's only one way to get what we want. So we hit a roadblock on this path and we get stuck. We don't know how to plow through the obstacles. Because we only know one way. We only know one path. And that's not good. Because that's all we know. Because it's where our mindset is. See, this whole thing starts with a mindset change.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
If you ever gonna move out of being stuck, it has to start with the mind. It has to start up here that I have to realize that what I used to do, that's not working. So now I need to change my way of thinking so that I can get focused and move on to the things that I need to move on to. And sometimes the best way to get unstuck is to look at a different path. Come on.
Yeah.
Something slightly different than your original intended course. You may find that the new path was even better. Come on. Come on, somebody tonight.
Yeah. So true.
Because we're focused on that one path, But what happens if you just go left instead of going right? Maybe that's the path for you.
That's that fear. That's when you allow that fear to get in. Because you don't want to go that way because you feel like that ain't the way you should be going. And all the while, it's the way you should have went. In the beginning, you should have went that way.
That's right. That's right. And people don't realize it and that's taking me to my next point, which is you have fear of failure. So many times it's the fear of the failure, Algerina. So it's the fear of the failure. Fear of failure is one of the biggest ways people get stuck because you can't move forward because what if your idea is a bomb? Okay, you have millionaires, billionaires today. They failed at so many things before they became successful. Do you know how many times they had to design it again? Do you know how many times they had to throw away material? They had to throw away products. They had to learn through trial and error. So we find ourselves because we're having fear of failure. We're saying, okay, what happens? What if it doesn't work? What do I do? Well, you'll never know if you don't try it. So we get stuck. We're stuck. That can cause you. Fear can cause you to be stuck.
Yes.
And I'm glad you said that because you were absolutely correct. You were going right to my next point. Yes. Yes. And it's the fear of the failure. See, fear doesn't always go away, but we can learn to move forward and live in harmony with it. Sometimes we look at back things that we're proud of, and then sometimes we look at things that we're not proud of because it just didn't go the way we wanted it to. So it kept us stuck. So now you don't want to do the business again. Now you want to give up on the business because it didn't work the first time. Sometimes you're going to have to go back over and over and over again until you get it right. But it doesn't mean that we should fear failure. But so many times that's what causes us to get stuck.
And not only that do we fear it, we just give up. We just simply give up. Nobody's not liking my post when I post my product, or I didn't get a sale on this particular product, so I'm gonna just stop because nobody's looking, nobody's paying no attention. Keep going.
That's it.
Keep going.
Keep going. Keep going. Because that's what you know was given to you to do. So once you know that, you just have to keep going. And I like what you said. You're absolutely correct. You have to keep going. Hey, all it takes is one. Do you know it took one person? All it takes is one person to believe in you. You don't know what connections that one person has. So it's not necessarily that you need the 10,000. It's not necessarily that you need the crowd. You only need that one that believed in what you had. You know how many people are famous and millionaires today because of one person who heard them. They were in the right place at the right time.
As long as you keep going, guess what? You're going to run into that person.
Somebody.
Hey, you're running into that person.
You're running into somebody, okay? Come on, we're running into somebody, okay?
You got to keep going because if you stop, you're not.
Oh, help us. That is so true. That is so true. And, so we have to realize that we still have to keep going. One of the other things is that you're not living in alignment. See, so one reason that you might find yourself stuck is that you're not living in alignment with your values. If you're working, let's just say you're working somewhere, you might be working a job and you don't feel like, it's not really doing it for you. Or maybe it's paying the bills. You might begin to feel stuck like that. Like it's paying the bills, but it's not fulfilling you. So that can become a problem because it's doing what it needs to do. But at the same point, you're feeling stuck because you feel like you're in a dead end job. So when we see that, when you're not living in your alignment, the thing though is that there's no price that you can put on your integrity that's worth compromising yourself.
Yes. And a lot of people do because of $1.
Yes.
Because of $1 versus going after your purpose. You figure you make it more, like you said, you comfortable. The bills are being paid. You living your life according to how you want to live, the type of lifestyle you would like to live, but you're not fulfilled.
Yes.
So you're just living your life for $1.
And but yet you going home and you're still miserable. You don't and it's why? Because you compromise the value. So you've got to make a plan and say, okay, you know what? Oh, I'm getting unstuck. So I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to get out of a dead end job, and I'm going to start applying for other jobs. I was there, in a dead end position. This was years ago. I'm a dead end position. And it wasn't until I said, okay, wait a minute. I'm in a job where everybody has all these positions sewn up already. So I'm like, okay, the chances of me moving up is slim because they were already taken. So what did I do? I started applying outside of the company and started interviewing on my days off. I started doing other interviews, and before I know it, I got the job that I wanted. It was paying what I need, and I love what I did. So we have to be willing to make the change, and we have to realize our value and realize that we will not compromise our value, and you shouldn't. One thing I can tell you, you should not have to compromise your value, but know that you want more, and it's nothing wrong with that. Yes, it might be paying the bills, but what's the fulfillment? Are you still miserable? You're going to work miserable every day. Or it could be a relationship. You could be in a relationship the way you're just staying because he's paying your bills. You staying, honey, because he's paying the car note. You staying because he's taking care of you. You don't have to worry about a roof over your head. But the truth be told, you can't even stand looking at him. Truth be told, if he even tries to hug you, you cringe. So that's a problem. But you staying because you feel like this is what you need to do. No. We have to know our
they comfort place.
Right. Yep. And it becomes a comfort zone. And some people and
that comfort zone becomes a handicap.
Yeah. Without a doubt. It can definitely be a handicap. That's a very good point. It can definitely be a handicap. And you don't realize it because you've been in it for so long. You figure, okay, this is the norm. This is what's happening. But you know what? At the end of the day, you have to know your value and you have to know what it matters to you. So we're at the point that we want to move forward because it's so easy to get stuck and it's so easy to stay there when there are other options, and that we don't have to fear change. You know, we don't want to fear failure. And we begin to fear so many different things that hinders you. No, we want to push you. We want you to move forward and not be afraid. So maybe tonight that's you. Maybe you're saying, LaWanda, I've been in that place and I feel like I'm just stuck. I don't know. I'm in a dead-end relationship. I'm on a dead-end job. You know, I just feel like my life, I want my own business, but I don't know how to move into it. I don't know how to go forward. Let me tell you something. There's so many options and things to help you so that you don't have to continue to stay stuck. And it's okay to find someone you can talk to, someone you can discuss this with you and say, okay, you know what? This is where I am. I've been stuck here for a minute and I don't know how to move, because just maybe they can help you move. And that's why we're talking about this tonight, because we want to see you move. I want to see you move forward into the things that are for you. And it's okay. You'll make mistakes along the way. I've made a lot of them. I'm sure a lot of us on this line can say that we've made a lot of mistakes. I'm sure there's some business owners that are on here that can tell you we've made the mistakes, but we didn't throw in the towel. We kept going. Look at you, Algerina. Would you have the candle company today if you would have thrown in the towel? I'm sure you wanted to. I'm sure you
a lot of times. A lot of times. A lot of times, and with the candle company starting off, you know, I got so discouraged multiple times.
Wow.
And because I'm like, me talking to a friend, it's a candle. They could go anywhere to get a candle. You go to Walmart, you go to Dollar Tree, you go anywhere to get a candle. But she had to tell me it's more than just the candle.
Yes.
It's more than just the candle.
Yes.
And we just got to keep in front of us our why. Why are we doing it? That why is going to help keep the fire going. It's going to help motivate you. It's going to help push you when you think about, why am I doing this?
Wow. The why. I like that. The why. Definitely. That'll keep us pushing and it'll keep us going forward. So I hope tonight, I'm glad that, you know, we had discussion tonight, you know, about feeling stuck, but we want you to move forward. So I hope that something was said to encourage you and something that will help you to move forward, you know, and maybe that's you. So I am really hoping that you can keep, like my sister said, you know, keep going, you know, and I thank God for all of your comments and everyone that is here tonight, you know, on the show, because let me tell you something. It's about making a difference. Abundantly Restored is about making a difference. And I want to see you get everything that you have. I want to see you get it, whatever it is, because there is restoration and there is hope. As long as there's hope, you can keep going. As long as there's hope, you can keep pushing. We look at Algerina. She did not give in. She could have, but she didn't. and has her company today. I'm sure through many obstacles, but yet she still overcame it. And thank God brought her into transition into wholeness. So we thank you so much, Algerina, for being with us today. Thank you
Thank you
so
for
much.
having me. Thank you
Oh,
for
I
having me.
enjoyed you. Thank you. We thank you so much. We congratulate again, Julia Barney, for our spotlight. So, you know what? Let's continue to keep encouraging one another. Thank you for tuning in to Abundantly Restored. Remember, ignite faith, hope, and transformation. And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode of Abundantly Restored. Have a good evening.
Amen.